Chapter 2 The Hidden Room. Rain still clung to Pine-Meadow the next morning. Hazel Brooke arrived at the cafe early, hoping work would quiet the noise in her head. She poured coffee, arranged pastries, and let routine keep her grounded. Maya appeared behind the counter, humming off-key. "You look like someone who found buried treasure and forgot to tell me." Hazel smiled faintly. "Just couldn't sleep." "Hazel," Maya said, arms crossed, "don't make me guess." "What happened?" Hazel hesitated. "Ada Merriweather left me something. A key, a note. I found a room under the library." Maya blinked. "Under? Like under? Hazel nodded. "Hidden, behind a bookshelf. There were maps, photos, and a tin box with her initials." Maya exhaled, half impressed, half worried. "Of course you found a secret room. Tell me you didn't touch anything cursed." "No curses, just questions." Hazel lowered her voice. "I think Ada was investigating something about the town, something she didn't want forgotten." Before Maya could reply, the first customers arrived, and the conversation dissolved into the rhythm of orders and chatter. But Hazel's thoughts stayed underground. At noon, rain softened to a drizzle. Hazel slipped away, crossing the quiet street toward the library. Its gray walls glistened, ivy hanging heavy. The side door key turned easily. Inside, the air was cool, smelling faintly of wet paper. Her flashlight beam skimmed over empty desks, Ada's chair still tucked neatly beneath her desk. Hazel passed the fiction aisle and stopped before the tall shelf she'd discovered the night before. She pulled Field Guide to Rain. The click came again. The shelf shifted forward just enough. Hazel ducked behind it, and the cool draft met her face like a breath. The stairwell led down to the same stone room, small, deliberate, waiting. Her light swept over the walls, revealing pinned maps and neat stacks of documents. Hazel set the tin box on the table and opened it. Inside lay photographs of underground tunnels, a folded map, and a stack of typed pages. The top page read, "To the Council of Pine-Meadow, regarding the disposal of industrial solvents. Immediate containment recommended." The ink had smudged, but Ada's handwriting beneath it was sharp. They did not contain. They buried. Hazel's pulse quickened. She unfolded the map. Thin blue lines ran beneath the town's streets, old drainage routes. One line was circled in red. "To Market Square. Sealed." Market Square. That was directly beneath the cafe. A faint sound made her freeze. Footsteps creaked overhead. Someone was still in the library. Hazel turned off her flashlight and listened. One slow step after another. Then silence. She counted to 30 before breathing again. When she turned the light back on, someone stood at the doorway. "Miss Brooke," came a calm voice. Hazel nearly dropped the flashlight. "Miss Darrow?" The librarian, gray coat, neat bun, eyes like a ledger, stood in the narrow entryway, holding an umbrella. She didn't look surprised. "I wondered when you'd find this," Miss Darrow said. Hazel blinked. "You knew?" "I suspected. Ada left that key for a reason. She trusted you to notice." "Why would she hide this?" Hazel asked. "These documents, what do they mean?" Miss Darrow stepped closer, scanning the maps. "Years ago, Pine-Meadow's packaging plant dumped waste through the tunnels. The county told them to stop. They didn't. The town sealed the truth instead." Hazel pointed to the red circle. "The welded route under the market." Miss Darrow nodded.
Ada called it the Weld. She wanted it opened.
She died before she could, Hazel murmured. Miss Darrow's eyes softened.
Maybe she left it to you, because you'd finish what she started.
Hazel folded the map carefully. Then I will. That night the cafe felt unusually still. Hazel spread the documents across the counter under the hanging lamp. Maya locked the front door and joined her. So, Maya said, scanning the papers. Illegal dumping, tunnels under the town, a welded door. This is big. Too big for us alone, Hazel admitted. Miss Darrow's calling the county inspector tomorrow. We'll open the weld. Properly. In daylight. Maya raised an eyebrow. And you're planning to be there? Of course. You're not scared? Hazel hesitated. A little. But Ada tried to tell the truth, and it cost her everything. If I walk away now, it's like pretending she didn't matter. Maya stared at her for a moment, then sighed. Fine. But I'm coming. Someone has to make sure you don't get buried with history. Hazel smiled. Deal. Maya glanced at the small cassette player Hazel had placed beside the papers. What's that? Ada recorded herself. Miss Darrow found the tapes Hazel inserted, one labeled July. She said to listen with someone. Then I guess that's me, Maya said, folding her arms. Press play. The tape hissed, then Ada's voice filled the room. Steady. Careful. The same tone she'd used to scold late book returns. July 2nd. If you're hearing this, I've moved the meeting from the depot to the market door. If I'm right, the council intends to reseal the tunnels. If I'm wrong, you'll have tea with a nervous reporter. Either way, record everything. A pause. Paper rustled. To whoever finds this, if I fail to make the handoff, notify the county. If the county delays, go to the press. Truth doesn't vanish, it just waits for someone impatient enough to find it. Maya's eyes flicked to Hazel. She knew. Hazel nodded slowly. She knew and planned for someone to finish it. Then the tape changed. A door opened, followed by footsteps and a man's voice, low and polite. Miss Merriweather. Ada replied calmly, You chose the wrong town. The next sounds were quick, metallic, then silence. The tape ended with a sharp click. Maya sat very still. She recorded her own murder. Hazel's throat tightened. She knew it was coming. For a long moment, neither of them spoke. Rain tapped lightly at the window, soft and persistent. Finally, Maya said, So tomorrow we open the weld. Hazel nodded. With the county there. With witnesses. And with Ada's evidence in hand. Morning came gray and taut. Hazel dressed in her thick coat and boots, slipping Ada's map into her bag. She could feel the town's stillness as she walked, how people sensed change without naming it. The cafe opened early, but Maya was already outside setting up a pastry stall by the square. Public distraction, she said. If anyone asks, we're testing croissant weather resistance. Hazel smiled. Perfect. Tom Riley, the mechanic, stood nearby with a toolbox, pretending to fix a bench. Mr. Ballantyne, the tea shop owner, poured drinks for onlookers. It looked ordinary, until Miss Darrow arrived with the county inspector, clipboard in hand. You're early, Hazel said. I'm punctual,
Miss Darrow corrected. Let's begin. The inspector nodded. We'll need access to the drainage run beneath the square. Tom lifted a grate. Right here. Hazel climbed down first. The air was cool and damp, echoing softly. The inspector followed, shining a wide beam of light down the corridor. After 10 meters, the tunnel ended at a smooth wall of welded metal. On its surface were faint initials. LT9/85. Leonard Turner, Miss Darrow murmured above them. Public Works foreman. He welded it himself. Hazel ran her gloved fingers along the seam. The air smells chemical. Old solvents, the inspector said grimly. They probably dumped barrels in here before sealing it. He raised his camera, documenting the seam. We'll file an environmental report immediately. Hazel stepped back. Ada found this 40 years late. We're just catching up. The inspector glanced at her. You did the right thing, Miss Brooke. Hazel nodded but didn't smile. She did the right thing. I just listened. Back above ground, the square was gathering a quiet crowd. People pretended to be curious about Maya's pastries, but kept glancing toward the inspectors. Miss Darrow joined Hazel near the cafe door. You understand what comes next. The county will open the chamber, remove the waste, and launch an inquiry. The mayor will hold a press conference. People will argue about who knew. And us? Hazel asked. We'll tell the truth, Miss Darrow said simply. And then we'll rest. Maya walked over, brushing flour from her hands. Rest isn't your specialty, Hazel. What's your plan after the mayor finishes rewriting history? Hazel watched the inspector mark the weld with bright chalk. There's always another story, she said. Maya sighed. Of course there is. That night, Hazel sat at her desk, Ada's note beside her. The truth is under our feet. She traced the words once more, feeling their quiet weight. Tomorrow the square would be loud again. Reporters, questions, headlines. But tonight, Pine-Meadow was silent. Hazel looked out her window toward the library's dark shape and whispered, We found it, Ada. The wind moved through the eaves like agreement. And somewhere beneath the town, behind the welded door, history waited for daylight.